Okay, so once again, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody who's joined us and those who are still joining as we speak. We know your time is very precious, and we appreciate you joining us for what should be more or less half an hour of a great presentation around phishing and brand protection, which is the topic for today. Before we start, I just want to go through just a few housekeeping rules. As you'll notice, your audio is muted throughout the webinar. This webinar is being presented in lecture mode. Having said that, you can ask questions at any time throughout the webinar by using the Q&A button or the chat button located on your Zoom control panel. In addition to that, just wanted to mention that this webinar is going to be recorded, and we'll be emailing you a recording of this webinar once it's done. And beyond that, if you should encounter any issues with Zoom throughout the webinar, sound, visuals, whatever, just feel free to contact one of the moderators, again, either through the Q&A or through the chat box. Just before we started, before I'll introduce Yuval, who's going to be presenting today, if this is your first time with KELA, maybe I'll say just a couple of words about who we are. So we've been around for over 10 years, almost 15 years now, starting with cyber threat intelligence, but we've expanded our activities quite a bit in the last few years. In general, what we do is we help our customers map and monitor their entire attack surface in order to track and monitor for risks and threats that may be targeting their organization. We do that by mapping out their organizational attack surface, expanding to the external attack surface, third-party risk with vendors they're working with, and additionally customer risk. And while doing that, we provide full visibility into the cybercrime underground, mainly through our cyber threat intelligence capabilities, to provide our customers and organizations we're working with visibility into what's happening within the cybercrime network, including ransomware blogs, dark web forums, Telegram channels, and more. And we do all this with a set of capabilities which include cyber threat intelligence, digital risk protection, external attack surface monitoring, and more. And all these technologies in turn feed a full suite of solutions targeting specific threats depending on customer needs, from ransomware protection, supply chain risk, identity protection, and as we'll be covering mostly in this webinar, phishing and brand protection. So with that, without further ado, let me present our presenter for today. But maybe first I'll just present myself, because I always seem to forget about myself. So my name is Amir. I head up product marketing here at KELA. But I'm not the star for today. The star is actually Yuval, who's joining me. So I'll let Yuval introduce himself and take you away on this ride. Go ahead, Yuval.
All right, thank you very much, Amir, and hi everyone. Hope you're hearing me. I'm not muted, right? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. So a few words about myself. Yuval Mond, I'm a senior sales engineer here at KELA. Been around KELA for the past 3 years, but overall in this, I would say, this domain and in this field of intelligence analyst and cyber intelligence analyst for over 20 years in several sectors and several companies. And I'll be leading this, I'll say, introduction and deep dive into the brand protection, also which will follow with a demonstration of the KELA brand control module. So as we said, a few list highlights of the agenda for today. We're going to start with a short intro into the phishing as a top initial access vector, a deep dive into all kinds of scenarios and how KELA looks at it, and of course what our solution brings to the table in terms of combating and I would say addressing this specific attack vector, and ending with a demo of our capabilities, live demonstration of the tool, and follow up with a short Q&A at the end of this presentation. As Amir mentioned, you feel free to leave your comments, Q&A in this in the relevant box in the Zoom in this Zoom portal. So first of all, so what we're talking about, just put us all in the same picture of what we're talking about when we talk about brand protection, because as we know that there are different, there are different, I would say, methods that attackers use when they want to abuse, when they want to trick user or abuse your brand. I've listed here a few examples. The main examples, starting with domain spoofing or typo squatting. This is when they register all kinds of lookalike domains in order to mislead the victims into thinking that what they are seeing is the actual brand or the actual I would say company, but it actually isn't. There is an attacker sitting in behind. The second thing is brand impersonation, which takes a little bit, I would say, one step further from the domain spoofing and from the domain typo squatting, which is in this case, we see that those attackers that actually copy the emails, copy all kinds of logo, the entire website to look like this is, I would say, the facade into deceiving those customers. On social media, we're also seeing a lot of activity relating to brand abuse, with attackers that creating all kinds of fake profile that impersonate either the brand or executives, employees, and often, the purpose of this is to spread all kinds of scams and all kinds of, for example, also like fake news, or lead them into getting into the I would say to address all kinds of malicious activities, ending up finally, I would say classic phishing and scam campaigns. This is where the attackers actually send out emails, they send out all kinds of messages, posts that are designed to steal the credentials themselves, to actually trick individuals into providing them all kinds of login details and authentication and all kinds of personal details that they can later abuse, can later utilize for malicious purposes. All those methods that just show, they show in high level, I would say, how attackers can target your company, can target your customers with multiple, I would say, detection methods. And we mentioned, that when we look at it, from the perspective of initial access vectors, or how threat actors actually gain access into organizations' network, we look at the recent report from 2024 that's summarized by IBM experts, that summarizes all those the top methods used. We're seeing that, as you see on the right side, phishing accounts for 1/4, like 25% of all cyber attacks. There is a slight, I would say, decrease from past year, but still very, very dominant methods. And also we need to bear in mind that phishing, and I will show it, I think, in the next slide, phishing is still a very, I would say, useful or lucrative vehicle by threat actors actually to get valid accounts, like we talked in the previous slide about stealing credentials with all kinds of phishing and scam campaigns. What we also see, two interesting, I would say, trends is, first of all, the introduction of generative AI, which is, as you can see, the fueling phishing attacks, and it does it by actually two main manifestations. First of all, it also increases the sophistication and the volume of these attacks, because it enables threat actors to generate more and more such campaigns, like overload the system. And secondly, it lowers the entry barrier, because it enables people who are less skilled, less I would say less I'd say capable, but are less familiar with this world, to also engage in such malicious activity. And we're seeing also a lot of phishing kits, phishing as a service kits that are being offered and shared online in the cybercrime underground, in the same sources that KELA monitors on a daily basis, and has been doing so for the past decade and more. And we mentioned, the credentials, which is, I would say, the holy grail of all kinds of campaigns. And as we see, the way that threat actors are gaining access, or the way that the threat actors are getting those credentials, is, first of all, the old-fashioned method of cracking all kinds of password spraying and brute forcing techniques to manage to help them get to those credentials. The second one, as we have discussed quite in detail with KELA in several webinars in the past, in the info stealers that are actually infecting devices with malware and taking the credentials. And third, we see also phishing, like directing the victims to fake login pages in order to get their credentials. And as we mentioned earlier, phishing is in some cases also a very useful vehicle for infecting those devices. So there's actually some kind of symbiosis between the second and the third pillars of how threat actors are getting those credentials. We recently published the 2025 AI threat report. Highly recommended read if you haven't had a chance to do so. And also, I think there was a webinar here about a few weeks ago, detailing about the findings of this report and discussing how cyber criminals are actually weaponizing AI technology. And a key, I would say, finding to highlight in our discussion about brand protection and brand abuse is that high increase, the surge in the mentionings and the campaigns regarding dark AI tools. Mentionings of dark AI tools and I would say proliferation of dark AI tools in all kinds of cybercrime platforms. We see threat actors actually creating all kinds of customized large language models and GPTs, kind of a tool, marketing them and opening access to whoever wants online, and these, of course, can be used for all kinds of malicious activities and malicious purposes. One of them that we have been witnessing quite a lot is also phishing. We're seeing threat actors using those GPTs to create all kinds of sophisticated phishing campaigns. And as in this case, as you can see, give me an advanced phishing mail for Instagram account seizure. And the GPT and this specific model generates very quickly a very, I would say, trustworthy, you can say, announcement or some kind of an email that can be sent to the relevant victims. And this is why I said that we are seeing, first of all, how the barrier has been lowered, so more actors can play in this field, and also they can the volume is also being increased, and the sophistication as well. So we're seeing like mainly pillars that actually like influence one each other, eventually creating a very, I would say, vibrant scene for phishing campaigns by threat actors. So when we talk about the typical stages of phishing attack, and this is like more, I would say, we look at it in very high level overview of what are the typical stages. We see that it usually starts with the registration of a suspicious domain that can be some kind of mimicking your original or your brand domain. The domain is then being connected to a server, to a DNS, in order to be available online, and to also be able to present data and upload data. Usually also connects to a mail server, and then starting to actually see content in it, and the content is gradually being added. Under construction, and can then lead to all kinds of content changes with login pages and company branding and things that will make it more, I would say, reliable as an actual website that threat actors can engage. Those stages, as I said, are the typical stages. Sometimes you see this entire process takes place in a matter of, I would say, days, weeks, months, but it can also be in a much shorter period. And that's why the detection is becoming, I would say, crucial to identify this process while it is still at the moment it starts. And this is where we introduce the KELA brand control for safeguarding your organization from phishing and impersonation campaigns. And actually, our module gives the full package of either detecting the phishing and the brand impersonation, then also the analysis, all of it fully automated analysis and validation using all kinds of advanced algorithm to generate score and to I would say to highlight only those relevant and severe cases that need your attention in a prioritized manner. And eventually, and this is of no less importance, the blocking and the takedown, because at the end of the day, at the end of the process, what you actually want is not just the detection, not just the highlighting of this campaign, but also the ability to close a circle on this specific threat, and making sure this is removed and that this threat cannot put your organization, your customers, and your brand, of course, in general, in any threat. So just a few words about the rapid countermeasure and the automated blocking, because this is like an important feature, important capability that no solution for brand detection is actually complete without it. The ability to automate the entire process of takedown. I will show it in the platform how you can actually generate the takedown requests automatically from the platform. This will trigger the process and do the full facilitation of the takedown process, from providing all kinds of evidence and submitting the request to real-time updates of the takedown request status. Okay, and we will see it once we do the demo. And just one more slide before we move to the demo itself, to talk about the social media monitoring, because we've had a lot of discussion about domain phishing and domain lookalikes. So just also mention that our coverage also includes social media monitoring, and it focuses on all kinds of impersonation campaigns, either against your brand, against your company pages, or against the executives and employees of the company, allowing you to continuously monitor any appearance or any indication of a new such page or such profile, detect them quickly, making sure that you are generating those alerts to the relevant personnel and supporting the takedown of the impersonation or fraudulent accounts. With that, let's move to the demo. Okay, so hope you see my screen. I just jumped into the KELA platform that I'm sure most of you are already familiar with. I'll just highlight the left bar, just to put us all in the, I would say, in the context of this module. The brand control module joins the other known KELA modules, and now the 8th module in our platform, unified platform, that can, of course, is modular, and you can build your solution based on your needs. In terms of, I would say, in its concept, the brand control module is very similar to what you're already familiar with, the identity guard, that is tracking and is looking into, I would say, credentials and emails of your organization coming from information stealers, all kinds of third-party data breaches, and the monitor. And it resembles them in the way that this is also, I would say, an automatic module that scans, our sources and scans our coverage all the time to highlight any and pushes you alerts on any mentionings or any matches with your organization, with your brand. So you can configure it. And I will just, before I dive into the data itself, I just want to show a little bit about the background. You can configure it, based on what you wish to monitor, what assets you wish to monitor, and then what the platform does is that it, once again, 24/7, all the time, scans those sources. Whenever there is a match, it highlights and it generates this alert. And these alerts, as we said, can look into different I would say, data types, starting from social media campaigns, lookalike domains, phishing, actual phishing websites. You can see based on the different stages or where this attack is within the life cycle of a phishing campaign. This also influences the severity of this specific threat. I'm now focusing on one of them. We're looking into, of course, a simulated data of a company called Churn Opportunities, and you can see the alert itself also indicates, or say, brings you, this is like an important feature, important model that we adopt in KELA with all our findings, to provide not just the finding itself, but also the entire, I would say, metadata around it. So whatever we know, we make sure that you also know, like description of what exactly we are seeing here, when it was detected, when it was last updated, all the technical specs around this specific domain, what IP it resolves to, geolocation identification, DNS records, what do we see, the threat and analysis of the threat, of what is the impersonated asset. In this case, this is the legitimate main domain of the company. We see this like using all kinds of type of squatting techniques of and changing I's and L's and changing zeros with O's, and those kinds of type of squatting techniques. So you can see all this data. You can see timeline of what happened to this incident from the moment it was detected until it was actually taken down if needed. All kinds of who is records. I will also show screenshot in a few seconds. But also at the end of the day, you can change the status of this specific incident based on your review, and if needed, also, as we said, to automate the entire takedown process directly from the platform, where you can actually provide a description, submit all kinds of evidences and papers that are required for KELA to facilitate the automation, the takedown process, and eventually you will see indications and updates regarding the process until the website or the specific domain is being taken down. So we talked about similar domains. As we said, we also cover for fake social media profiles. Here also, I want to show you an example of screenshots that are being that are taken from the domain, from the relevant domain. In this case, we see also a usage of the logo. We have the ability to detect this logo and indicate, of course, increase the severity of a specific incident if we see more and more attributes that relate to your organization. Also, when we talk about social media, also the engagement within this page also can influence the score, the severity of this specific page. We see all the relevant details here. So we mentioned the couple of incidents. We show like how KELA presents it all the way from the detection and the validation analysis to the takedown. Another important feature, I would say, important attribution of each such monitoring and automatic module is the ability to actually report and to make sure that this information gets to the relevant people in the right time. We know that, and we've all been dealing with intelligence. I've been doing it for many years of my life. At the end of the day, if the information just lies in this portal or lies in the platform and doesn't get to the relevant people in the relevant time, it doesn't worth the effort that we invest. So we also introduce in this, of course, across the board with the entire KELA platform, all kinds of playbooks and reporting tools that will facilitate, that will make sure that you can integrate the data seamlessly into your receiving end, into your collaboration tools, into your centralized databases. So whenever there is a detection, you can define like the rules and be very granular of how you want to build this. Create the relevant playbook that will send the data, that will send only, let's say, incidents with this severity or in this status into any integration that you have that you can configure in our platform. Okay, so that's a very high level walkthrough of the module, of the brand control module. I'll just jump back to the slide. So we talked about, just to summarize the key features that we had the chance to discuss about the KELA brand control. We're talking about the monitoring of the domain and the phishing and the detection of phishing, the enrichment that we provide to incidents, and at the end of the day, also the automated takedown process. Okay, so just the key takeaways from what we've discussed about the KELA brand control module. And to summarize, so the brand phishing protection helps you protect your brand's reputation, safeguard executives and employees' identities, and at the end of the day, this is most important, most critical for organizations, for many organizations such as yourselves, to strengthen your customer trust. Yep.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, so well, first of all, thank you for this wonderful presentation. Actually, exactly on time. We scheduled for half an hour, and that's exactly where we are. So, with that, we did have a couple of questions that came in. So let me take a look and read. So, first question that came in: are phishing site detections based only on the domain name, or are there other detection methods? I think
Okay, so
we're talking about spoofing and lookalike. So is it only regarding the name, or how else do we detect phishing sites?
Yeah, good question. I think that the example that I showed actually look into type of squatting, but we actually, I mean, the question is whether, I mean, we're not looking only on the domain name. We're also looking at other, I would say, attributes of the relevant domain. Looking into, you know, if we mentioned all kinds of keywords and headers and the logos that can be available in the web page itself, and the HTML structure, if it impersonates the original domain. We're not looking only into type of squatting. So good question.
Okay. Another question that came in is around applications, Android and an iPhone. I mean, are we doing anything around fake applications?
Yeah, so I think it was actually mentioned in one of the bullets of the presentation. I don't want to go back to the slides, but I will just mention this is it's not part of the demo, but it is also covered in the brand control module. The ability to also look up at any kind of impersonation or fake applications that are being shared on all kinds of app stores. So we're looking into those places as well.
Okay. Okay, we have one more question that came in. I think this is also what we have time for. So you mentioned at the beginning that phishing as a service is becoming prevalent. Are you doing anything around that?
Yeah, so this is maybe it's hard to see it in this module. This module actually shows, you know, the bottom lines on how these campaigns actually target your organization and how you are being targeted at the end of the tunnel, you can say. But behind it, we in KELA, as I said, we are monitoring all those places where threat actors go to share information, where they exchange all kinds of data, and this is actually where we identified this increasing emerging trend of phishing as a service and all kinds of phishing kits. So once again, what you're seeing here are the bottom lines and how this affects your organization. But we in KELA, we actually look into those trends, and we can identify all kinds of interesting, I would say, developments in this world, and of course can enrich your organization with all kinds of findings that we get from those sources.
Okay, great. Okay, I think that's exactly, we're right on time, so I think we'll leave it at that. I did see another question too coming in. We'll answer those offline, and feel free to also to keep sending in your questions also. Once you receive the follow-up emails, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So with that, once again, I want to first of all thank Yuval again. Thank you for your time. I think it's the end of the day where you're at, so a great way to end the day.
Even after that.
And to everyone who joined us again, just a few things. First of all, thank you for joining the webinar. Again, we really appreciate your time. Log into our website. All of our webinars are available on demand, and Yuval mentioned a few webinars that we had in the recent past on info stealers, dark AI. There are quite a few interesting topics which I'm sure could be educational for you. And also, of course, keep a lookout for upcoming webinars, and we already have a couple planned for the next few weeks. You should be seeing some of those being published on our website and on our LinkedIn and other channels as well. So with that, last time, thank you everyone, and we'll say goodbye until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks for your time.